Hi students, now we are going to discuss basic terms used in accounting. First term is assets. What does it mean? Assets are items of value owned by a person or a company. So here assets means items of value owned by a business organization. For example, cash, cash at bank, cash deposited in the bank, then machinery, furniture, building, debtors, bills receivable, etc. All are items of value, and all these items are owned by the business organization. Such items are called assets, and assets can be classified into two. Assets are broadly classified into two. Okay, so the two types of assets are fixed assets and current assets. Fixed assets and current assets. Okay. The next term is liabilities. The claims of outsiders on the assets of the business are called liabilities. The claims of outsiders on the assets of the business are called liabilities. For example, amount payable to suppliers, salary outstanding, loans payable to a bank, etc. are examples of liabilities. Okay. So what is a liability? A liability is an amount payable by the business to outsiders. That is called liability. Then liabilities are classified into two. First one is long-term liabilities and second one is short-term liabilities. So what is a long-term liability? Obligations that are payable after a period of 1 year are known as long-term liabilities. Suppose we have borrowed money from bank and that amount is payable after 2 years. Okay, then we can call it as long-term liability. Okay, so liabilities which are payable after a period of 1 year are known as long-term liabilities. Then what is short-term liability? Obligations which are payable within a period of 1 year are short-term liabilities. The next term is capital. The amount invested by the owner in the business is called capital. So, in order to start and run a business organization, finance is required. Okay, the amount invested by the owner in the business to start and run a business organization is called capital. Or in other term, capital is the difference between assets and liabilities of business. So we have already studied one accounting equation. Accounting equation is equal to assets is equal to capital plus liabilities. So we can find out capital from the equation. Capital is equal to assets minus liabilities. From the total assets, when you deduct liabilities, you will get capital. Next one is revenue. Incomes of a recurring nature from any source are called revenue. Incomes of what nature? Of a recurring nature from any source are called revenue. For example, revenue from goods sold. Okay, so it is a recurring nature. Goods sold, sale of goods, rent received. Okay, monthly we receive rent. Then interest received. It is recurring nature. Commission received, dividend received. These are all examples of revenues. So incomes of recurring nature from any source are called revenue. Next one is expenses. Expenses are the cost incurred by a business in the process of earning revenues during a period of time. So expenses simply means cost incurred by a business in the process of earning revenue during a particular period of time. For example, rent paid, salary paid, wages paid, electricity bill paid, telephone bill paid, etc. etc. These are all examples of expenses. The next one is expenditure. Expenditure. Amount paid for acquiring an asset is called expenditure. So we have purchased one furniture by paying rupees 10,000. Then we will treat it as an expenditure. So amount paid for purchasing or acquiring an asset is called expenditure. For example, amount spent on the acquisition of machinery, buildings, etc. These are all examples of expenditure. Next one is loss. You know the meaning? The excess of expenses over revenue in an accounting year, that is what is called loss. And it is a reduction in owner's equity. Okay. So it is the excess of what? Expenses over revenue in an accounting year. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു വർഷം നമുക്ക് 1,00,000 രൂപയാണ് റവന്യൂ ഉള്ളത്. അതേസമയം നമ്മുടെ എക്സ്പെൻസ് 1,10,000 രൂപയാണ്. അങ്ങനെയാകുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് 10,000 രൂപ നഷ്ടമുണ്ടെന്ന് പറയും. അപ്പോൾ എന്തിനേക്കാൾ കൂടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ റവന്യൂവിനേക്കാൾ കൂടുതൽ എക്സ്പെൻസസ് വരുന്ന ഒരു കേസിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ലോസ് എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പം ഇങ്ങനെ നഷ്ടം വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അത് ആര് സഹിക്കണം? ഓണർ സഹിക്കണം. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ അത് ഓണറുടെ ഇക്വിറ്റി റിഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. അദ്ദേഹം സ്ഥാപനത്തിലേക്ക് കോൺട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്ത എമൗണ്ട് കുറയുന്നൊരു സാഹചര്യം ഉണ്ടാവും. ഓക്കെ. Then profit. Profit is the opposite of loss. Profit is the excess of revenue over expense in an accounting year, and it increases the owner's equity. Okay. It is the excess of revenue over expenses in an accounting year, and it increases the owner's equity. Next term is purchase. When goods are procured for the business with the objective of selling it for profit, then it is called purchase. What is purchase? When goods are procured for the business with the object of selling it for profit, it is called purchase. Then purchase may be either cash purchase or credit purchase. Okay, two types of purchase are the cash purchase and credit purchase. Next term is sales. Sales refers to total revenues from goods sold or services rendered to customers, and it may be either cash sales or credit sales. There are two types of sales, cash sales and credit sales. So these are all very familiar terms. Okay. Next one is stock. Unsold goods with the business. Unsold goods with the business either at the end or at the beginning of the accounting year. That is what is called stock. Okay. Unsold goods with the business organization either at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year. That is called stock. Okay. Then two types of stocks are there. Stock at the beginning of the year on 1st January 2020. Okay, stock on 1st January 2020 at the beginning of the year is called opening stock, and the stock at the end of the year is called closing stock. So two types of stocks are there, opening stock and closing stock. The next term is debtors. Who is a debtor? A debtor is an individual or business that owes money to another entity or another business because they have been provided with service or goods. അപ്പോൾ എന്താണ് ഡെപ്റ്റേഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ? നമ്മുടെ സ്ഥാപനത്തിൽ നിന്നും ആർക്കെങ്കിലും സാധനങ്ങൾ വിറ്റു. അപ്പോൾ അവർ നമുക്ക് പൈസ തരാനുണ്ട്, ആ സ്ഥാപനം നമുക്ക് പൈസ തരാനുണ്ട്. അങ്ങനെ സാധനങ്ങൾ വിറ്റ വകയിൽ നമുക്ക് പൈസ കിട്ടാനുള്ള ആളുകൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളെയോ ആണ് നമ്മൾ എന്ത് വിളിക്കുന്നത്? ഡെപ്റ്റേഴ്സ് എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. Creditors, just reverse of debtors. Creditors are the suppliers of the business to whom business owes some money. This arises in business due to credit purchases. നമുക്ക് സാധനങ്ങൾ സപ്ലൈ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്ന ആളുകളെയാണ് നമ്മൾ അവർക്ക് പൈസ കൊടുക്കാണ്ട് കടമായിട്ട് സാധനങ്ങൾ വാങ്ങിച്ച വകയിൽ നമ്മൾ പൈസ കൊടുക്കാനുള്ള ആളുകളെയാണ് എന്ത് വിളിക്കുന്നത്? ക്രെഡിറ്റേഴ്സ് എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. സാധനങ്ങൾ കടമായിട്ട് വാങ്ങിച്ച വകയിൽ നമ്മൾ ആർക്കാണോ പൈസ കൊടുക്കാനുള്ളത് അവരെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ക്രെഡിറ്റേഴ്സ് എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. The next term, drawings. It is the amount of cash or goods withdrawn by the owner from the business for personal use. Amount withdrawn by the owner or goods withdrawn by the owner from the business. For what purpose? For personal purpose. We can call it as drawings. Okay. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ ബിസിനസ്സിൽ നിന്നും അതിൻ്റെ ഓണർ പണമോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മറ്റെന്തെങ്കിലും സാധനങ്ങളോ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ സ്വകാര്യ ആവശ്യത്തിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് വീട്ടാവശ്യത്തിന് വേണ്ടി എടുത്തു കൊണ്ടുപോയാൽ അതിനെ വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണ് ഡ്രോയിങ്സ്. ഓക്കെ, താങ്ക് യു.